What I wish I knew about the British influence on Indian education back in school. Let's get into it. Before British rule, Indian education was rich and diverse. We had gurukuls and madrasas teaching everything from philosophy to mathematics. But in 1835, Lord Macaulay introduced English education. The goal? To create a class of Indians who thought and behaved like the British. The focus was on clerical jobs, not critical thinking. Ancient sciences, mathematics and philosophy, sidelined. This manipulation erased our rich heritage and knowledge. Why did they do it? To make us feel inferior and dependent on British culture and governance. They promoted Western superiority, making us believe their way was the only way. And the divide and rule strategy? It emphasized religious and caste differences, weakening our unity. They also destroyed Indian industries, making us economically dependent. But here's the twist. Knowing English does give access to global knowledge, technology, and opportunities. It's a tool, not a measure of intelligence. Modern India is reclaiming its heritage, blending the best of both worlds. So remember this, knowing English is useful, but respecting our roots is equally important. Let's embrace our rich history and move forward with pride. The British aimed to create a class of people who would serve as intermediaries between the rulers and the ruled. They wanted Indians who were Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, opinions, morals, and intellect. This was a strategic move to ensure that the British could maintain control over India with minimal effort. By creating a class of people who were loyal to the British, they could ensure that their policies and governance were implemented without much resistance. The introduction of English education also meant that traditional forms of knowledge and education were devalued. The rich traditions of Indian education, which had been passed down through generations, were suddenly seen as inferior. This had a profound impact on the self-esteem and identity of Indians. They began to see their own culture and knowledge as inferior to that of the British. The British also used education as a tool to further their economic interests. By training Indians to take up clerical jobs, they ensured a steady supply of cheap labor for their administration. This not only helped them save costs, but also ensured that the local population was kept busy with mundane tasks, leaving little room for dissent or rebellion. The long-term impact of this strategy was the creation of a society that was divided along lines of language, education, and economic status. The English-educated elite often looked down upon those who were educated in traditional ways, leading to a further divide within Indian society. This division played right into the hands of the British, who used it to maintain their control over the country. However, it's important